Yo, what's poppin', guys, and welcome to another Scratch tutorial. I know people really like these ones, so I'd like to make more of them. Now, this is gonna be, it might be a quick one, it might be a bit of a longer one, depending on how much stuff I would like to add. So I'm going to be showing you today, since nobody's given me any stuff they want to know, so I'm just gonna start doing stuff, and maybe you'll find something you like. So today I'm going to go over how to make a basic cookie clicker game. And I'm going to add, it might be a series, I'm going to add obviously cookie clicker stuff, upgrades, stuff to add to your DPS, or your CPS, clicks per second, and stuff, I don't know if I said it already, but saving data, I definitely want to add some of that. Prestiging maybe, I don't know, we'll see how we go, how we do. I'll also add a high score for who has the most cookies. Anyways, how about I stop talking and we get started? So what we want to do first is you obviously want to call it something. I'm just going to call mine cookie clicker. I'm just going to call it tutorial as well, just so you all know. And I already deleted the cat, so you go ahead and do that. So what we want to do first is I like to make a backdrop first, something nice to look at while you're playing your game. You can make yours whatever you want. I'm going to make mine kind of like a brown, because that's what color a cookie is. Looks like that. Maybe I'll make it a bit darker. Yeah, that looks alright. So there we go. Now we got our background. Let's quickly paint up a new sprite, and we will make it a circle, and this will be our cookie. So if you hold shift, you can make a perfect circle. No matter how you move it, you'll make a perfect circle when you hold shift. So we're going to hold shift to do that, just center it just like that, and then we'll color in the cookie. I'll just choose a brownish color, a dark brown, and we'll say this cookie has like chocolate chips. Who knows? I have no idea. We'll find that out. Again, hold shift if you want to make perfect circles. If you want to have imperfect chips, go ahead and make some imperfect chips. Doesn't matter. As long as it makes you happy, it's whatever you want, man. You can do whatever you want. It's your world, man. It's your game, your world. You can design this however you want. Add any crazy stuff you want to add to it. Go right ahead. You don't just have to follow what I say. It's your game, man. Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. So, there. I think that's a fine looking cookie. I mean, some of these chips are pretty funky looking, but okay. So put your cookie where you want it. I'll put it right there. So I always like to make the Y 0 at least, so it's directly centered in the middle. Now we're going to call this sprite, and you can call it whatever you want. It doesn't have to be a cookie that you make it either, if you're following me. But I'm just going to call it cookie. Awesome, now we have this. But our game doesn't do anything. That's pretty boring, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So we're going to do a when the green flag is clicked. Again, we're under cookie right now. We'll go to whatever these coordinates are, wherever you put it, which it should be automatic from where it is right now. So when you pull out a go to X, Y, it will automatically have the coordinates of where the sprite already is. So it's good where mine is. See if I put it over here, hit restart, there we go. And we also want to show it, just for now. Eventually we will change up the green flag to show the saving data, but we're not going to do that right now. Now what we're going to start doing is we're going to grab a new variable. I'm just going to rename the my variable to cookies. Bam. We're going to show that. We're going to put it up in the corner just like that. And also while we start on the green flag, we're going to set cookies to 0. So if we have cookies set to like 2,345, hit the green flag, goes down to 0. Very basic, right? Very, very basic. What do we want to do next? We want to design the part that allows you to get new cookies. So go under events and grab the when this sprite is clicked, which that means whenever the sprite is clicked, it will do whatever is under this command. So we want to do something very easy. Go into the variables tab and grab a change cookies, and you want to change the cookies by 1. So now we have basic design. So whenever we click the sprite, it'll change our cookie number by 1. So let's try it. Look at that. It changes the cookies by 1. Isn't that cool? And then again, if you hit the green flag, it resets them all. Awesome. Now, it looks a bit bland right now, so let's set up something new. So you can do it underneath this one, but I'm just going to grab a new one so it's a bit easier. Grab a when green flag is clicked. Go ahead, grab yourself a forever. And then we'll grab an if-else statement, which basically what it does is it checks if something is happening. So we'll do if touching mouse pointer, which means if the cookie is touching the mouse pointer, which would happen when you put your mouse over the cookie. So it checks if it's touching mouse pointer, then we'll change its size by grabbing change the color, and then, oh, sorry, wrong one. I'm a little slow. Where is it? There it is. Change size by, 10. That sounds good. And then so it's checking if your mouse pointer is touching the cookie, it'll change the cookie size by 10, making it a bit bigger. If it's not, which is what else means, so if it's doing this, then do that. Otherwise, set size to your 100%. So what that looks like is when you start the game, oh, you see what's doing here? It gets super big, super fast, right? So we don't want change size then. What we want instead is set size to 110, which is the same as it was before, except it won't constantly change it. It'll do it just once. There, look at that. Now we got that little effect. When we get near the cookie, it just gets bigger. Super simple, right? Okay, awesome. What do we want to do next, you might ask? I'll tell you what we'll do next. How about we add an upgrade? Does that sound good? I think that sounds good. So let's start off by making a new variable called CPS, standing for either clicks per second or cookies per second, whatever you want it to be. And we'll hit OK. We'll put CPS maybe right underneath the cookie. Yeah, that looks good. And again, if you do this, make sure the cookie won't go over it when it gets bigger. Perfect, just like that, looks good. So what will we do now? Let's add ourselves an upgrade. So we're going to make a new sprite. It doesn't have to be anything super duper fancy. What I'm going to do is, again, you can design the color however you want. If you want it to look like just the words are there, what you do is you come to your backdrops, open your, there's a cop outside. You come into your color, you grab the dropper tool, you grab that so it gives you the exact color, then you come to your sprite, you do this, see how it's the same color? If you look over here, it's the same exact color, you can't even see it. And then you put the words on that and you put it up there. I'm not going to do that, just so you can see what I'm making. So what we'll do is I'll make it white instead. And if you hold shift, you'll get a perfect square. I'm not going to do that though. I'm just going to make a nice little rectangle. Just like that, we have one of these now. So put that wherever you want. I'm going to put it right there. I think that looks nice. And let's actually tell us what it's going to be first. So, we will make it say, what do we want this upgrade to be called? Should it just be like extra click or mouse? Let's do like extra mouse. There we go. There we go, perfect. So now I have that there where I'd like it. And then we'll call the sprite extra mouse button. Just like that, perfect. It doesn't have to be called that, you can call it whatever you want. You don't have to call it anything if you don't want to. But I'm going to call it that. Now I'm going to instantly make another costume. And I'm going to grab a green, a bright green. You don't have to do this, I like to because it just adds a bit more aesthetic. I'm just going to fill in this. Doesn't have to look super good at all. And there we go, now we have two costumes. So, make sure you're under extra mouse for this part. You're going to do a when the green flag is clicked, it will again go to that location wherever it is. We'll have it set the costume to 1. That's important. Because it's one costume is the white. Perfect. Then what we want is we also would like it to show, just in case we have a title screen maybe in the future. Maybe I'll do that in the future, I don't know. So there we go. And then we'll grab actually for this one, doesn't even matter. So we'll grab our forever loop, put it underneath, put our if-else statement right inside of it, and then we'll check if touching the mouse pointer, just like we did with the cookie, but instead of changing the size, we're going to change the costume to 2, or otherwise, if it's not touching the mouse pointer, we'll change it to 1. So now when you hit the green flag, it looks like this. So we have the cookie that does this, and the extra mouse button does this. Turns green. Very basic, right? Cool. Now, what's going to happen when we do click this? Well, that's what we'll set up right now. So we're going to grab when the sprite is clicked, I'll just put it up there. What it's going to do is run a check. It's going to say however much we're going to make this cost. How much should we make this cost for now? How about the first one would be 50 cookies? No, 25 cookies will be for the first mouse. How about that? I think that sounds good. So now we'll do 50. We'll do 50. When the sprite clicked, we'll check. We'll grab a greater than, which is this one. And we will grab if your cookies is greater than. So if we're doing 50, that means we're going to want 49. And the reason is because we're checking if it's greater than 50. We want it to be bigger than 50 or equal to 50. So what we'll do is we'll make it bigger than 49. The next biggest number than 49 is 50. So that means if it's bigger than 49, so if you had 50 cookies exactly, you'd be able to use this button. Understand? I hope so. Good. So, since we have if cookies is greater than 49, we will then start a, we will then first of all take away cookies, change cookies by -50. So regardless if you have 2,000, 2,000,000, 50, it'll take away 50 if it's bigger than 50, if it's bigger than 49. If you don't understand what that looks like, I'll give you an example right now. So just change cookies. See, we have 50 cookies, which is bigger than 49, right? So we hit extra mouse. Now the cookies go away because it checked if our cookies were bigger than 49, which it was. So then it took away 50 cookies, meaning we, bought the item. So what else do we want to do besides just take away our money? We want to change up the CPS. CPS again stands for clicks per second. So what we'll do is we will change our CPS by 1, meaning we get 1 new click per second. Every single time we get a mouse, it will then click the cookie for us 1 time every 1 second. Understand? If you don't, I'll be able to explain later. So I'm just going to keep this open for now. You don't have to have this open. You can obviously close this. It is not necessary to have there. I'm just doing it so you can see and understand what's going on. So after we have that, it's going to check if cookies is bigger than 49, so 50 and above, then it'll change your cookies by -50, change your CPS by 1. Now, how do we set up what our CPS is doing? That's very easy. All we have to do there is we can do it, let's do it right under backdrop. No, we'll make a new sprite. Don't make anything. Don't give it any look. And we'll just call this one CPS AI. AI stands for Artificial Intelligence. And what that means is it'll just do stuff automatically by itself. So, what do we want to do with that? We will do a when the green flag is clicked. First of all, again, we do want to set our CPS to 0, so we're not starting off with a bunch of clicks per second. That wouldn't be good. So what we want to do is then go grab a forever loop, put it right underneath there. Then we're going to wait 1 second because this is your second. It'll wait 1 second and then click 1 second and then click 1 second and then click. Got it? Pretty easy. Then what it'll do is we'll do change cookies by CPS. This is a very basic example, by the way. I'll definitely make this more so different levels will give you different amounts. This is just a basic, quick example of this. So the green flag clicked. It'll set your CPS to 0. So let me save and then green flag. Now let's go ahead and get ourselves a bunch of cookies. Oh, I just realized I moved the cookie. So we'll click a bunch until actually full screen it. We'll click a bunch until we can get ourselves up to 50 cookies. And once we're up to 50 cookies, we'll hit extra mouse and you'll see our CPS change. Boom. And then every 1 second, the cookie will start clicking itself. And then we can also click along with it. See it going up when I'm not clicking? Pretty cool, right? And then if we wanted to do that again, we just have to wait till we get 50. Then we can do it again. Now we have 2 clicks per second. See how this works? Cool. Now, what if you're like, well, that means you could just eventually keep buying those forever and ever and ever, which is right. So that's why we're going to make the amount that it costs increase with every single increment. Every single time you click it, it will then cost more the next time. How are we going to set that up? We're going to mess with this a little bit. So, first of all, in this else statement, if you're wondering what we put there, I just like to put a say for 1 second how much it costs. But I'm not going to do that. We'll just leave that as nothing. So what we'll do instead, a nicer way to do it, that I like to do, we'll make a new variable. You can call it whatever you want. I'll call it extra mouse cost. That's what I'll call it. Extra mouse cost. Double click that so it becomes one of those. And put it right there. Pretty easy, right? and that will display our cost. So when the green flag is clicked, you will want to set extra mouse cost to 50 because that is how much it costs for the first click, right? So when you start, boom, it'll show us how much it costs. Pretty easy, right? Now we're gonna mess around with this a bit more. So it's gonna check one. So what we're going to do is we're going to check. Go into operators. Sorry, I'm stumbling a bit. And grab a minus and put it right in there. And what it will do is it will check the extra mouse cost -1. I'll explain what this means. So, if that looks a bit complicated, don't worry. I'm going to explain it. I promise you'll understand it. So, what this is checking is your extra mouse cost variable is this, right? Which is 50 currently. So we'll check if your cookies is greater than your mouse cost -1. So our mouse cost -1 would be 49, right? So now you see, this is exactly the same. It's 49. Is our 49 before, right? So put that in there. So it's the same thing. Except this time it'll automate it every single time we do it. So cookies is bigger than 50. So if it's bigger than 49, that's what this means. Extra mouse cost, whatever this is, and you'll -1 from whatever this variable is. So right now it is 49, and it'll check if your cookies is greater than that. It'll change. Then what you do is you change your cookies by extra mouse cost instead of -50, which would be the case this time. But when we boot up the increment, boost it up, make it something different, when you click that, it'll minus whatever the cost is. Understand? Okay, I hope so. Maybe when I show you, you'll understand a bit more. Change your CPS by 1. That's the same because extra mouse, we're going to have it just change CPS by 1. We'll have different items change the CPS by different amounts. But right now, extra mouse is just 1 CPS. Got it? Alright, cool. Now we're going to want to change. Change. We'll change the extra mouse cost by. We'll do. How about we do grab a multiplication? That's what that little asterisk is. It's the mathematical sign for a multiplication. If you know it as a dot or an X, it means the same thing. So this is plus, minus, multiply, divide. So we'll grab that maybe, and let's try to set up something. We'll change our extra mouse cost by whatever our mouse cost is currently. So this would be 50, which is what this is. This is 50. So basically, a variable is just a number put into word form. That's all it is. This is literally equivalent to 50. It'd work the same if we just put in 50, but we don't want to do that. So put in the extra mouse cost multiplied. We could do by 2, so then the next extra mouse would cost 100, and then the next one would cost 200, and then 400, and then 800, and then 1,600, and I think we'll do that. So multiplied by 2. Awesome. So what that looks like now, I'll show you. It looks like this. So we start the game. We'll go ahead and we'll get ourselves our 50 cookies. Let's go ahead and do that really fast. There we go. We're at 50. Extra mouse. Boom. Ooh, you see what it did there? It gave us some. Let me explain why it did that. See, right there, it gave us cookies instead of taking them away. Why'd it do that? Well, you see, it's just changing it by the extra mouse cost. The extra mouse cost is a big number. So what we have to do is you'll grab a join. And what this join does is it joins two things together. So if you put a minus in this spot and then an extra mouse cost in this slot, when you click it, it'll mean negative whatever your mouse cost is. So it's 150 right now. So it'd be negative 150. So now it works the same way. Let's restart the game and I'll show you again. So we'll go all the way up to our 50. So once we hit the 50, give me a second. Alright, 50. Hit the extra mouse cost, it adds more. Now the extra mouse cost costs 150 instead, and now our CPS is 1. Perfect, right? So let's get it up to 150 now. Who knows how long that'll take, right? It probably shouldn't take too long, especially since we have our extra CPS working with us. So you might be wondering, hey, why didn't it set it to 100? Well, why didn't it set it to 100? Well, we'll figure that out. So now we're at 150 by the end. It's now 2, meaning 450. So let's try to analyze why, even though our code says change the extra mouse cost by extra mouse times 2. So it's already at, we already established that when we start, our extra mouse cost is at 50, right? So what it's doing is it's taking your extra mouse cost, which is already 50, and then multiplying. So what this would be currently, our extra mouse cost is currently 50, right? So think about it like this. We have a 50 already, right? And then what it's doing is it's multiplying 1 by 2. So it's doing 50 and then 100, and then it's adding them together, making them 150 instead of just multiplying it. So what we have to do is very easy. Very, very easy to change this up. So what we'll do is we'll put a, it's very basic. So what we need to do is we should grab a minus, and we should do change extra mouse by I think it's a bit too complex to explain. This is a beginner course, by the way. If you're like super experienced, I'm sure you already know how to do it, but for right now, I'm not going to actually explain this. We'll just deal with it doing that and adding whatever it is every single time, which I think is just fine. I think it's fine. But if you wanted to not do this, you could instead do, if you wanted to really double it, what you could do is do this, plus this, and then bam, it doubles it. So let's see if this works instead, doing extra mouse cost plus extra mouse cost, which would be 100. And that's how we want it, right? Cool. So let's go ahead and let's gather up our 50 cookies to then use to demonstrate. So, 50 cookies, grab extra mouse. Now it's 150 again, which is fine. And then as we get to 150, it'll be 450. And then I think the next one, I'm not good at math, would be 1,000. I'm not good at math. If that's completely wrong, I understand why it's completely wrong. I'm not the smartest guy, I'm not gonna lie. But, you know, I think that's a good place to end it. I think that's a good place. Actually, if we want to just double it, we just do that, right? Hold on, I'm trying to figure this out too. So, just change extra mouse cost by extra mouse cost, which would double it, right? So I'm sorry for doing this. Sorry for making you change so much code. Please understand me here. So 50. Oh, there we go. Now it's 100. Now it's 100. Okay, good. See how we did that there? All right, cool. So now we're at our 1 CPS. We get all the way up to 100. We'll let this finish it up for us. 100. Now 200, and now it'd be 400 because it double it again, and then 800, and then 1,600, and then 3,200, and then 6,400, and then 128,000, and it just keep going up in increments just like that. Obviously, very good, very good. Just this is the code right here. Change extra mouse cost by extra mouse cost. Put a red underneath there. That's where I'm going to leave this tutorial for the basic cookie clicker. If you'd like to see me add more onto this, so your game can continue to grow, I will definitely do that for you guys. This is just a little bit of a basic intro to making a cookie clicker game. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, then like it, and if you didn't like it anyways, because that'd make me very happy, and I'd quite enjoy that. Yeah, while you're at it, why not subscribe to my channel if you enjoy my content? That would help me out a lot. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.